Hello people! Today we're doing a set I'm calling Rose Window. Now I started off kind of wanting to do a stained glass, but it kind of evolved into a different kind of a thing. I mean, it's sort of kind of stained glass, but not totally. But anyway, we're going to start off. I'm using a extra long almond or stiletto. I think they're more almondy. And now we're going over these with a layer of blooming gel. Now, what I'm shooting for this base color on these is on the stained glass stuff. Sometimes you see kind of milky looking glass that's got color swirled into it. That is what I'm shooting for. So I think I got that part okay. Alright, we're going to first start off with white. And I'm just dabbing this on randomly wherever. Okay, this has got the blooming gel on it, and these are going to bloom out somewhat. This is the easy part, the easy peasy part. Okay, now a little bit more on those. Okay, moving on. Now, these three colors I'm going to be using came from AliExpress, and I've had these for at least a couple years, maybe a little longer. I never remember to use these things very often, but we're going to start with the purple, and we're just going to dab some of this on random spots. I got a little crazy with that first blob, and these should start to bloom out. As you can see, the white's bloomed out pretty well already. Now, I think what happens along the way with this is sitting here on my desk. My desk lamp is on, which is LED. So I think the base with the white part started to cure slightly from sitting here under the lamp for that little bit. Because these colors did not bloom out as much as I was expecting them to. And as you can see, oh, I got crazy with the pink on that one. I'll try to take some of that off of there. Okay, and then we're going in with the blue. So we have a pink, a blue, and a purple. Now what I'm going to do, FYI, if you don't have blooming gel, you can use base coat. It will do the same thing. Just blooming gel just seems to work a little better. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm taking some more blooming gel and I'm just running a line right down the center of the nail just to give it a little bit more, so that stuff will start to do its thing better. I'm cleaning my brush off before putting it back in the blooming gel bottle. Now I'm just taking my detailer brush and I'm just swirling these around a bit. I wasn't shooting for marble exactly, but it kind of sort of end up being a marble. But I think I managed to achieve the look I was going for with this background colors. I mean, it kind of does, once it gets cured, it kind of does look like that milky kind of glass with the color swirls in it. I know you guys have seen this, so you know what I'm talking about. You guys have seen stained glass with this kind of stuff, I'm pretty sure. That one had a weird blobby thing on it. Now, these are not opaque, even when they're going to be done. If you hold them up to the light, you can see through them quite easily. Hence the window portion of the name. Once I'm happy with these, I'm going to hold them upside down for a bit and let that blooming gel run back to the middle. Oh, that one needed a little skosh more pink. All right, Now I held these upside down for probably, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds, give or take, while it was doing other things, kinda. And when we're ready, flip them up and they're gonna go in there for curing. Now, I'm using glitter polish, and I started off with it on my palette, and we're gonna paint the roses with this pink glitter. Now, I don't know why I was thinking I needed to be all delicate painting this on like this. Because this just isn't gonna, I don't know what I was thinking, frankly, so don't do it like that. I'm gonna switch to the bottle brush here in a minute, and that's the way we're gonna do the rest of them, and you'll see why. I don't know why I was thinking I was gonna have to paint this rose on petal by petal, because that's just not the way this was gonna go. Basically what you need is a blob of whatever color the rose is going to be. In my case, I'm doing this pink glitter. And it's got to be irregular. Don't make a perfect circle. Leave some things kind of sticking out. Okay, this being the thumbnail, I decided to go for 2 roses on here. Now, mind you guys, I am not the kind of an artist that can sit down, pick up a pencil and a paper and just draw something and have it look like what the thing is. I don't have that talent. So these roses were really stressful for me because I don't freehand paint stuff that looks like anything usually. I mean, I can do little stuff on the nails because it's tiny, but now this one, I decided to give it a little bit more because it was a little thinner than that one on the ring finger. And that one definitely needed a lot more. Alright, now those 2, as soon as I'm done blobbing on this one, are going to be ready to cure. And while that's happening, we're going to get this Beetles. This is a green glitter, kind of a greenish, maybe a dark teal, I don't know, but it's a greenish glitter. These are going to be the stems. And I'm going to have to make the stems a little bit thicker than what I normally would like to have on flowers because it's going to get the stained glass treatment where it's going to be all sectioned out, so I needed to have a thick enough stem that I was going to be able to outline it. So in case you're wondering why my stems are so fat, that's why. Now this one I did use my striper brush to paint because I was going to have to be keeping this neat and I needed to do leaves and whatnot, so see, I'm not crazy about having a thick stem like that, but in this case I needed to. And then I'm just going to put a few leaves in here. And I wanted to use a glitter for the rose and the leaves just so it would stand out a little bit more from the background stuff. I thought about doing the roses in purple, but since I had purple in the background, I thought that might end up blending in a little too much, and I definitely did not want red. You guys know how much I hate red, so we shall carry on. Now I'm leaving this part in real time. As we go along, I'm going to be speeding a lot of stuff up because it just takes, it's time consuming, and I didn't want you guys to sit through any more stuff than you needed to. Although having said that, I like to be thorough and show the whole process too. Okay, and on this one, I decided to do the two roses. I'm really not liking the stem on this one because it got way too fat down there at the end. I didn't get it to taper off very well. I should have wiped it off and started over, but I didn't. So here we are. And that one, I'm going to go the opposite way. Then I decided I needed that little kind of base part at the top of the stem under the rose, like kind of where the rose hip thing would be created. And more leafy leaves. I know the background looks a little busy and stuff right now, but once we get the once we get all the line work in there, it will tone that down quite a bit. And obviously you don't have to use these colors. You could use any colors you want. But this is what I went with. I decided that those three seashell gels would be good colors for this background. Plus it gives me a chance to use stuff I don't normally use again, which I like to be able to do. I went back to this one to add that part underneath there because I didn't do it on that first one. And then once I decided to beef up a couple more of these leaves a little bit more because I didn't like the shape of them. Bearing in mind also that they're going to have to be outlined, and I wanted to make sure they were still going to look like leaves when that was done. I may go back at some point and revisit the stained glass situation with actual more colors. Okay, now I got my wipe. I've got acetone on the wipe. Now I am going to rub every one of these down. I'm going to clean it really, really well with acetone because I'm going to be doing isolated chrome and we do not want it sticking to the background. And I have found that using alcohol will work sort of kind of, but acetone works much better for clearing it all off. Sometimes with the alcohol it seems like little bits are still on there. The acetone pretty much gets it all off. Now I did have a problem with the chrome and the pink glitter. I don't know why, because you see how well I'm scrubbing all these down with acetone. I don't know why the chrome wanted to stick on that pink glitter, and I went over the glittered roses several times with the acetone, just giving it extra cleaning, because at one point when I put one of them down, it stuck to my gloves. I'm like, okay, there's still tacky layer. We don't want that. And I went over them. You can see how much I'm going over that, and I still had a problem with it sticking to there. So my pink glitter roses are not going to be quite as glittery as I would like. So you'll see what happens. Okay, moving on to the detail painting. I'm using black gel paint, and now we're going to paint the rose petals in, and so they will look like a rose, hopefully. Frankly, I think they came out decently. I was kind of surprised because, like I said, I was really stressed about having to paint these roses on because I don't normally do them like this. So I'm just putting where petals, I feel like petals should go. Kind of, you want to go like around, like see where that gap is. You kind of want to go around that gap with the back part of your petal. Of course, I'm going in a different whole direction because where I'm looking right now is not where I was painting at the time, but okay, here we go. This is the part I was just saying. Kind of going around the outside edge of the glitter, and then I will fill in, or if I feel like it's not looking right, I will just kind of add a little extra bit to the outer edge. This is why I said don't make your glitter spots perfectly circular. Make them be irregular, because the irregular part's going to be the outer edge rose petals. It looks kind of rose-ish. I've seen better, but it's decent. I could have gone with a different color gel paint to do this. I thought about doing them with purple, but all of this black is going to be chromed over anyway, so you're not going to see it. So it will not look this dark and black like this when we're done. But you can see as we're getting the detail lines on these now that the background is starting to fade out more. It's not as like in your face noticeable as it was, and it's going to get even more subdued once we get all our lines in. Now this one, I left this one in real time so you guys can see how long it took for me to do it. After this, I believe I have sped them up. And even though this took me a while to do, it really wasn't difficult. I mean, the hardest part of this whole entire thing was painting these roses, and that's probably just me. I mean, those of you that can paint stuff like that can whip them out probably real quick. And it did start to go along a little faster. As I went along, I wasn't being quite as careful, and I was kind of just putting stuff in. I wasn't overthinking it. This one has an odd patch sticking way out on the side over there. I'm kind of wishing I had put another petal across the top of that one. I think I did go down the side edge and do a little bit more. Even though there's no pink under there, we're going to give this a little bit more right there. That top edge is kind of bothering me though. I wish I had put one more petal across to even it out. Anyway, now we're going to go on to the stem portions. And being that this is supposed to look like stained glass, we're going to outline the stems and we're going to segment it into some little bits. I was trying to be careful to keep my lines really thin because I know once the chrome gets on there it's going to make them look fatter than what they actually are. Why it does, I don't know. It just does. And then the leaves. I know it feels like I'm going agonizingly slow. It's hard for me to watch this back. When I was doing it, it didn't seem like it was taking that long, but as I'm watching it, it seems like it's taking forever. While you're watching me do this, I will just tell you next week is my own nails again, and I'm going to be doing a new bee nail set. Bees, as in the little buzzers outside, get all of the flowers. Being that it's August now, and I like to do yellow in August for some reason. I don't know why, I just feel compelled to have yellow for August, because it's always hot in the sun. Hot sunny sun makes me think of yellow. But anyway, I decided to go for a bee nail set because I haven't done any in a few years. Actually, the last bee nail set that I did was the very first time I ever used what is that? Oh man, my mind just went completely blank. Polygel, haha. That's the first time I tried polygel, was when I did my bee set last time. And since I was using the dual forms to do it, it was kind of a nightmare, and I was kind of on the fence. Do I want to try this again, or do I want to just go back to acrylic? Because I was having so many problems with acrylic all of a sudden. I don't know what happened. I'd been doing it for years, perfectly fine, and all of a sudden I was doing everything the same way, but all of a sudden I was just getting acrylic sticking in my brushes. I probably ruined like 4 brushes in a row. I could not figure out why all of a sudden it was doing that. I had the same products I always had. I was doing it all the same way, but it just wasn't working for me all of a sudden, and I can't figure out why. I never did figure out why. So anyway, I decided to try polygel, and after that first go round, I was kind of torn because it didn't go very well. But then I quit using the dual forms, and I went to the Lazy Girl method, which is putting on my tips and then laying the polygel over the top. And that's how I've been doing it ever since, and I will not go back to acrylic. Anyway, now we have got the stems and the leaves done. We're moving on to the background, all the little lines of the different colors. And you know what occurs to me as I'm sitting here watching this? When I was painting these lines on, I should have been going around making the little sections around the different colored sections that are in the background. That would have made more sense, actually, I think, instead of the way I ended up doing them. But we're just going to fill in this whole background with some irregular bits of section. I don't know what to really call them. I mean, you can see what I'm doing. Excuse me. Like I said, this is kind of a time-consuming process, but it did start going faster as I went along. I got a little bit better. I stopped overthinking it and just painted. Excuse me. Don't let yourself get intimidated or freaked out by some of the designs you see. That you look at the finished nail and you're like, there's no way I could do that. But I'm telling you, if you break it down into the steps and go step by step, it's not as hard as it looks. Now, granted, there are some things that are more difficult and they take a little more talent or a little more patience. But a lot of it is just breaking it down into the steps and going step by step. That's how I started doing it, because I used to be very intimidated at the stuff I was seeing out there, and was thinking, man, I wish I could do that. And now here I am doing things I never thought I'd be able to do. And it's only been probably 4 years, maybe 5 years. Well, I've been doing it longer than that. But just since I've been doing it where I've been doing it with a purpose, let's say. Prior to that, I was only doing my own nails, and that was it. I wasn't doing tutorials. I wasn't doing any of that because I did not feel that I was qualified to be doing that kind of stuff. As I have said a million times on here, I am not a certified nail tech. I am a totally self-taught nail artist. So I don't like to say I'm a nail tech at all because, frankly, I'm not that great about the building of the nails and that kind of stuff. The nail art, another story. That I think I do pretty decent at. I mean, I don't claim to be a great nail artist, but I think I can do a decent job. And that's more than I would have said a few years ago. But anyway, my point being, don't get intimidated. Just try things. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? If it doesn't look good, you wipe it off and start again or do something else. Mainly it takes patience, I think. I think that's the biggest thing. If you have patience, you can get there. Even if you're not great starting off, you can get there. Almost done with this one. Okay, that is it for that. Oh, wait a minute, maybe not. Okay, we good? I think we good on that one now. Okay, now the rest of these I have sped up now. This is the ring finger. We're going to do the exact same thing. And after this, I'm going to show you one of the plain ones, which is basically the same thing as we're doing, except for it doesn't have the roses doesn't have a rose on it, so we're just gonna section out the entire nail. And didn't want to stay on the nail stand. I'm definitely going to have to put new blue tack on there this next time. Well, not next time since I'm doing my own nails, but for the one after that. And while I'm thinking about it, the one after my nail set, I'm going to try to do a Aussie tribute set, which I know I talked about last time in here. Sorry. My asthma's acting up today. It's hard to believe this is sped up, isn't it? I guess I could have sped these up to 4 times instead of 2. Well, I guess I don't have all that much else to tell you guys. It's hot here. It's like 95 today. My husband's in the process of building me a screen door for my office door because I have one window. Well, there's 2 windows in here. One I can't open, and the other one is always open, but it doesn't create much airflow. So he's gonna put a screen door on over my door so I can have my door open, still keep the cats out of here, but get some airflow in this room, which will be nice. I'm hoping that if my cats are laying there in the hallway by my door, which they usually are when I'm in here, that since they can see me, maybe they won't be sitting there meowing all the time like you guys end up hearing them sometimes in my video. Plus, they're just dying to get in here since they're never allowed in here. They're just dying to get in and see what's in here they can get into, which there's a lot. This is where all my indoor plants live because it's the only place in the house where they can't get to them and destroy them. I don't know about you guys, if you have pets, especially cats and house plants, they do not normally get along very well. I learned that lesson a long time ago. So now I just keep them isolated. And frankly, I don't know all the plants that might be harmful to them, so I don't need them eating something that is going to make them sick or worse. And we're going along. At least now that the rose part is done, the rest of this part's going a lot quicker. Okay, I did not like the sound of that. I heard something rustling in here, and I'm the only one in here. Unless something fell over in back of me there. I don't know what that was. Now I'm kind of freaked out. And sloppy that I am, I see that I have got black all over one of my gloves, one of my fingers down there. And that's why I wear gloves, people. Because I will get polish all over me somehow. It happens every darn time. Okay, this is the plain one, and I'm just going to show you the one. I'm not going to show you all of them. Now, the one thing I will say about these on the plain ones is I did kind of get a lot of sections instead of, and I didn't have that many big ones. They kind of tend to be more on the medium side, I guess. They kind of came out looking really scaly, like irregularly scaly, which I wasn't super crazy about, but that's what we got. You could also use the same technique to do mermaid scales or dragon scales, snake scales, anything scaly you could use this method for. Scaliness was not what I was going for, but that's kind of what I got. It could even kind of sort of look like tree bark in a way. Okay, almost there. Alright, now I'm going to cure all of those, and then we're going to use this light purple chrome powder. I toyed with doing gold or this one. I tried both of them on a practice one, and I like this one better. So, theoretically, since we have cleaned these with acetone, and I stuck my whole finger in the pot of chrome, now I got a mess. Honestly. Alright, it should not have stuck to anything but the black. Now, like I said, I do not understand why it wanted to stick on that pink glitter, because you guys saw me cleaning that really thoroughly. But at this point, I was looking at it, kind of getting a little panicky because it was on those roses so much. And I did not want them on there like that. Okay, once we get this on, now, I'm going to just brush some of it off. Now, you can see the background part is not stuck to any of that background at all. It's perfectly just on the lines. Now, where the glitter is, that's where we have an issue. So what we're going to do after I get done with the brush, which I only did the brush on that first one, excuse my arm, I'm going to take a wipe that's dry, there's nothing on it, and I'm going to give these a really good rubbing. And eventually I did get some of that chrome off the glitter. You can't tell as much on this one unless the light's going at a certain angle. But when we get to the ring finger one, you'll be able to see the glitter better. See, I mean, I really had to put some muscle into rubbing it on where the roses were. It was also kind of covering over the green glitter. Those I was able to get cleaned off real easy, or fairly easy, because you weren't able to see the leaves either on some of them. But this, I mean, look how hard I'm rubbing this, and it's just not wanting to come off of there very well. I do get it off enough to where I can live with it. It's just not as clear off of there as I would have liked. And once again, I'm fighting with the blue tack that's not sticky anymore. So you can sort of kind of see now I think when I did this one, I think I didn't wipe over where the rose was as much. I tried to avoid putting too much chrome on where the rose part was on this one, and that seemed to help a little bit. So this one will come out better. I don't know if I brushed this one or not. I think I just went to the wipe. Oh, I guess I did brush that one a little. And as you can see, the pink glitter part does not have it all stuck on there like the other ones did. And we're going to give it a wipe too. Now don't wipe this with an alcohol wipe here. You'll take all that chrome right off, and then you'll have to start over because your black lines will no longer be tacky, so you'll have to go over all of them again. So don't do that. Just make sure you're using a dry wipe for this. Okay, and then these guys are going to go real quick. We not have any issues whatsoever with them, with chrome sticking to the background on any of these plain ones. I mean, it worked like a dream. So other than they didn't want to stay on the nail stands, this part of it was good. I am going to give them a wipe down too, even though they didn't totally need it. I guess I'm not going to show you that part, but I did wipe them all down. Yeah, I liked this light purple better than the gold that I had tried with them. Okay, and this is the last one. Of course, there has to be a cop car out there making noise. Never fails. Whenever I'm trying to do a voiceover, there's always some craziness going on around here. Okay, wipe, 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 wipe. Ta-da! And here's where we are. See, you can see that ring finger one. You can see the pink glitter rose part much better. Okay, and all we have left to do now is our top coat. I think these would have looked really nice matted, but I did go with a gloss top coat on these. I don't know why. No logical reason for it. That just happens to be what I grabbed. But I do think they would have looked nice matte as well. But I know they don't look like real stained glass like with all the colors and stuff, but I think they do look stained glass adjacent. Okay, and I'm going to hold that upside down for a little bit. Now, I did not glom on a whole ton of top coat, so shouldn't have need to be upside down too long. But anyway, here's the finished look. I hope you like them. I think they turned out kind of cool. I like them, despite my roses being a little more chromier than I would have liked. But if you do like them, please give me a like. I'd really appreciate it. It helps me out. And I will have a new tutorial for you next Saturday, which will be bee nails. Okay, that's it for now. Have a good week, guys. Bye-bye.